Guys, I am Preeti and you're watching this video on gemstone therapy, and or you can also call it crystals, gemstones, stones, precious stones, etc. You can call it anything. We are going to check into what crystal therapy is, gemstone therapy is, and how it works, and how you have to choose a perfect gemstone for yourself. Okay, so stay tuned and watch this video till the end to make sure you get the entire scoop. Okay, stay tuned. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the little bell icon. Okay, so the first question you might have at hand, it might be that what is a gemstone or what is a crystal? So crystal is nothing but a stone. Gemstone is nothing but a stone. But yes, these are stones that are mined and then they are cut, they are polished, and they are presented as something that's really pretty, really beautiful, and yeah, so and it's they are like gems. They are highly priced and differently priced. Not just all are highly priced. So yes, they are differently priced, and yeah, so that is the basic thing. Now the first thing, have to distinguish. Now yes, now there are precious gemstones and there are semi-precious gemstones and there are normal stones. Okay, so the precious gemstones are the diamond, the rubies, and all the gemstones that are like really expensive. And you might have a question that why are they expensive? Because a lot goes into its polishing process. A diamond is just a stone, but if it's really cheap if you buy it raw, but the way it's cut, and the expertise that goes into cutting that diamond, it's really difficult if you have a very awkward shape of a rough stone to utilize the maximum area of that stone to just make it into a one piece cut stone. It does require a lot of expertise and a mastery of holding that stone, etc. We are not getting into cutting the stone, but yes, this is the reason why gemstones are priced a lot. Not just the cut, but the color, clarity, and the rare. How much rare a stone is, it makes it that much pricey. Okay, then there are semi-precious stones. The second type of stones is that they are not very expensive, but yes, they are semi-precious because they are not available just anywhere. Okay, and the semi-precious gemstones, they are available at various places. There are a few gemstones that are available in India and Asia, China. Okay, now when it comes to China, I would suggest that none of you buy any stones. If you buy stones online, then just make sure that the seller is not from China, because what happens is Chinese gemstones are the cheapest. They will show the most expensive, the precious stone they will show to you, and it would be like a very cheap price. And if you get that stone, it's not going to have any qualities or any properties. I'm going to tell you why it does not show any effects. Okay, now the semi-precious stones are at various places, and that is why they are semi-precious, because some stones are very cheap in India. Like I am from India, but the same stones, if they are not available in India, and if it's mined from some other places abroad, then it's going to be expensive for people in India. That same stone is going to be cheaper for people in that country because it's freely available there. Okay, I hope you understand this much. Yeah, and then there are these third type of stones which are like very easily available, and we can term as the ones that are available on the roads, on the seaside, and on the pool side or the river side, etc. The normal pebbles, and yes, some seashores also have some really good colored and glittery stones, right? Because I used to collect them a lot myself. So yes, now let's get into how to find the perfect gemstone for yourself, because that is a huge question for everybody. And yeah, there are two ways in which people select gemstones. The first I'm going to tell you, which I feel is the perfect method. Okay, the perfect method for you to select a gemstone is just go into a gemstone store. Go into a store that sells a lot of gemstones. When that store specializes in selling gemstones, there are going to be like thousands of stones around, and then you can just go around and look which stone resonates with your energy. Now what does that mean, resonates with energy? Once you look at the stone which is meant for you, you are just going to feel that strong urge of holding it in your hand, buying it, and you will just your search will end there. You will not feel like going across any more crystals. Okay, so yes, so that is the perfect way of searching a gemstone. Now it's very difficult to buy online, especially with this method, because especially when you don't know what stone is meant for you. And yes, if you don't have a local store, gemstone store, that has that many choices, I have this experience that whenever you go to any gemstone store, and that person, if that person does not have any much choices, he or she will try to tempt you in buying the stones. This is a really good one, this will suit you, etc. They will try to force you to buy the ones that they have, which is not the correct method of buying a gemstone. Okay, yeah, some people do try. Some good sellers, they may not try that. A thumbs up to them. Okay, now then there is this second method of selecting gemstones. Now there are these very famous books by Judy Hall and on crystals, and yes, I used to buy crystals that way, and I have like thousands and thousands worth of crystals lying at my place because I used to buy crystals by that way. Okay, now let me just, no offense to Judy Hall, okay, she has done an awesome job in creating those books and listing out the properties of those crystals, but the way I did it was, yes, and a lot of people do it that way, and yes, it is mentioned in the books as well, not just Judy Hall's book, but a lot of books, and they say that okay, if you want a lot of money in your life, this is the gemstone that you should wear. If you want good health, this is the gemstone that you should wear. If you want good relationships, if you want a life partner, if you feel that your relationships are not working out, you don't have love and romance in your life, and if you want to attract love and romance, then this is the stone for you. Literally, it used to be that way. I used to buy crystals, which is not the correct method. You will not end up being satisfied and being full with those stones. Okay, now let's see how does crystal work. Once you have crystals, how do they work? So crystal therapy or gemstone therapy is something that the crystal, as I told you, once you enter the store, it's going to attract you. It's going to feel, oh my gosh, I have to have that crystal. And once you have that crystal, how it works, the crystal is actually something, it has the energy that you are lacking. Okay, your birth chart is lacking that energy, and the energy of that planet, the energy of that element, whatever is needed for you to feel fulfilled in your life, that energy is lacking in that crystal, in you, and the crystal that has attracted you, that is the energy that is going to fulfill you. That is why it has attracted you. It is like you have this you feel this wholeness, this fullness. Once you get in touch with that crystal, that is the reason why you just feel that it's irresistible to you see that crystal on the shelf. You will immediately feel like grabbing it, buying it, and just having it for your entire life. You will also feel like sleeping with that crystal. Yes. So this is the thing that crystal does for you. And now let's see. The crystals that I told you that. Yeah, I told you the perfect method of finding a crystal, and you may not have access to go to a crystal store, because I can relate this because I don't have a gemstone store in my city. It's a very small city and I don't have a gemstone store, and I just have a store which has selected 4 to 5 gemstones, and whenever I go and tell them, okay, show me crystals, and those are the just 4 or 5 crystals that they show me. Whatever it is, no offense to them, because nobody in this city has much idea about how to buy crystals, what crystals are good for them, how to select, etc. So nobody is interested in crystals. So no store even dares to have a huge collection of them. Okay, but yeah, that is it. And okay, so now you might feel, okay, now suppose if I get attracted to a crystal that's really expensive, And what if you cannot afford? It's not going to be that way, okay? If a crystal, if you have an access to a lot of crystals, if it's the right time for you to have crystals in your, if that particular crystal in your life, you will have that much amount of money in your pocket. You know, I this is something interesting. Like, this was years back, when my thing about crystals was, I used to always try that I have the most reasonable crystal so that I can afford it. And at that time, you know, yeah, I did have more money, but the time when I had gone and just to take a stroll around some exhibition, which contained, yeah, some spiritual exhibition, and it had some crystal store, hardly with a few crystals, yes, but the ones different than what I get at my local city store. So those crystals, I did not imagine that I could find crystals, so I did not carry much money with me. And the crystal that I found was, it was so attractive. It was a little piece of a pendant, stone pendant, and I'm not going to tell you what crystal it is, because if I tell, you know, a lot of people might conclude it that, okay, now this crystal was good for her, means it's going to be good for me also. That's not the right way, okay? So that's the reason why I'm not telling what crystal it was. And you know, the crystal, the amount of the money that crystal you was costing was the exact amount I had it in my wallet. Okay, so yes, so that's a really good example. And you know, once I started wearing that crystal, it was like, it used to be like a total shift in energy. Okay, like, if even if I'm like a mood used to be like really cheered up and really um yeah, you know, happy and bubbly, sort of the way I am, I used to start feeling that way. Okay, so yes, so that was the way you have to select crystals. And okay, now one thing I would like to tell you is crystals, have to buy them, you know, about the China stones that I talked about earlier. And I have experienced this, because as I told you that I did not have any much idea. So I just used to think that it used to be like, people just liked to raise the prices of certain stones, and that is why they charged a lot. And so I used to always try buying from China stores, or sellers who are from China, and the stones used to be like really cheap, $5, $10. And yeah, so I used to get into stones like that, and I used to feel, okay, what's wrong in that? You know, these are also crystals. So, yeah, no offense to China, because Chinese sellers, you know, I do respect them, because they are very, very honest, they are very, very sincere. Yes, the only thing is, the people who are making them sell that, the sellers don't know what they are selling. They just feel that it's the authentic thing. So, I don't have any offense against the sellers, but yeah. And you know what happens is, the gemstones that are cheaper and they appear very nice and bright and pretty, what happens is, a gemstone, it's a stone, okay? It's not a piece of plastic, it's not a piece of glass, it's a stone. And stone is naturally created by the nature, by the environment, by the wear and tear of the breeze and all the things, you know, that carry sand and different elements, and they just collect over a period of few years, maybe thousands and thousands of years, and they condense and form into crystals. And yes, also lava and magma, they are beneath the earth's surface, and they, when they crystallize, they form into the gemstones. And those are authentic stones, because they are created by the natural heat and a natural wear and tear of the environment. Okay, now what people do to make, you know, to crystals, there are crystals that are industrially made. Okay, there are industrial diamonds as well, because a natural diamond is going to be very, very expensive, very expensive, that only the rich class can access. Okay, so you know, there are industrial gemstones that are created in the industry by using sand and stones, and you know, then they mix, I don't know the process, but I'm just telling you. And then there are these other crystals, you know, gemstones naturally have some flaws. They will have some spottings, they will have irregular colorations and discolorations and everything. They will have some cloudiness on one side, and one side it will be like very nice and clear, and on the other side there will be like cracks appearing on the gemstone, which is a totally normal stone. But what people do is that they heat up that stone, and then when the stone heats up, it actually, the color that is just accumulated on one side is going to spread out, and the stone is going to appear evenly colored, and it's going to appear transparent, or like some sort of quality piece, and not something that is drabby looking, and not something that is even unevenly colored, or etc. And that, once it is heated and processed, then that person can actually sell it for a higher price. Okay, so this is what people do with gemstones. So whenever you buy any gemstones, do make sure they are unheated, untreated. Okay, and treated means they heat up the gemstone and then they also color it. Once the gemstone is heated and it is dyed, means you can add a dye so that the gemstone is like a nice and brightly colored thing. Whereas natural stones may not be that good in color, natural stones may not be that impressive and that brightly pastel colored. Okay, yes, if a natural stone is very highly pastel colored and very bright, that is going to sell for a very high price. Okay, because it is naturally that way. Okay, so yes, so I hope that you like this video on crystals and gemstones. I would love to know what your queries are based on this video, so that I can answer majority of them. I know that there is going to be a video I'm going to make in future about different sun signs and different crystals that you guys can wear, but yeah, for now I think this is the best information I can give on crystals and gemstones. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this video, then hit the like button. If you feel that this video can help somebody, share this video with that person. I will see you again in my next video. Until then, keep following the path of your soul's purpose, because you are born for a reason. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. I have also heard few rumors that there are these huge companies, and they actually have bought the mines of diamonds, and it's their monopoly that they sell it at a really high price. Diamonds may be really cheap, and they might be very easily available to them. Okay, so that is one of the things that I have heard.